In this video, we're going to learn how you can configure and customize projects to your needs. How do you do that? Well, first of all, you need to select the project you want to configure. You can either do that from within the dashboard by selecting the project, or you can go to Projects and then select the project there. By default, you'll see all open merge requests when you click your project. And if you take a look at the sidebar, you can see that there's quite a number of things we can take a look at. The first thing we want to take a look at is the members section, where you can add members to your project so that you can actually collaborate. It's super easy to add another user to this project. You simply need to type the name and enter or click to select the user and then give the user a role. Click update and the user now has also access to the project and can actually see it. By default, projects in MergeBoard are not public, so if you don't have access or if you are not a member of a project, then you cannot see it. Now, MergeBoard also allows to configure groups of users, and you can also add these. For example, we can add our demo group that I prepared. We give this guest status. By clicking update, now this group of users also has access to the project. To actually understand who can see the project and who can do what, you can always click resulting permissions, and this gives you a comprehensive list of all the users that can see the project and what they can do with the project. If you want to change the role of a user, you can always click the user, then the user is selected down here. You can change the role, and by clicking update, you can see that Francis now is not maintainer anymore, but developer. All right, so this is how you can start collaborating in your project. Now, the next thing you might want to change are the project settings down here, where you can not only change the project's name, but you can also define how many people need to approve a merge request before it can be merged. Another thing you can require is that if you have a CI configured in your repository, that this one needs to pass before you can click the merge button. And again, for any of these settings, if you change them, you need to click save, that these new values are actually stored. Other things you can change are the project icon, can be funny, can be helpful, and you can delete the project. Now, this will not delete your repository that MergeBoard is connected to. This will only delete the MergeBoard project. With that, you lose information which merge requests you had in the past, which were closed, which were actually merged. What you will not lose are branches of your project and the actual data, the actual code in your repository. Okay, but there's, of course, more you can configure. For example, you can take a look at all the issue trackers that are connected to your project, and you can have any number of issue trackers, which can be super handy if you have multiple project management tools to manage your issues. You can edit the issue tracker, and you can add more issue trackers. We won't go into detail in this video how you can do that, because there are several types of issue trackers that are supported, but there will be another video you can take a look at. Then you can also configure scanners. Scanners can show you in your code when you open a merge request where there are, for example, spelling errors. If you activate code spell, for example, you can configure your scanners using this configure option, and you know that a scanner is active once it's glowing green right here and saying enabled. Now, other things you can take a look at in your project are, for example, the remotes. So this is basically what remote repositories are connected to this project. And again, you can have multiples here, multiple remotes. Probably you don't want that unless you have a complicated setup. Thing you can always check is how if your remote is synced, and if you want, you can also fetch those remotes and make sure that they are synced by hand. And yeah, basically this is something that if you use an importer to import your project, that MergeBoard does automatically. So it has webhooks set up so that you don't have to do this by hand. And last but not least, what you can take a look at are all the branches. You can also browse them if you want, and take a look at each single commit that has happened in the Git history of that project. So to recap, what you can do is you can add members in the members section. You can configure how many approvals you need, for example. You can activate or deactivate scanners, add issue trackers, and browse remotes and branches if you want to. And that's it. This is how you can configure your MergeBoard projects.